CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the Half, sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
That's just a beautiful sight from on high. Welcome back, everyone, to St. Petersburg, Florida, the site of the Final Four. At halftime, Duke is leading Michigan State by a score of 32-20, and these aerial shots, as always, being provided by Goodyear. And welcome to Pennzoil at the Half. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg and Rick Majerus. You know, as you take a look at this first half, you have to wonder, well, first of all, where has Mateen Cleaves gone? Just 3 points so far. Well,
they only scored 20 as a team, and the only way you have a chance, I think, to beat Duke is you've got to put the ball in the hole. They're being dominated on the glass, haven't found out how to handle Elton Brand, and as a result, they're down double digits.
Rick, considering it was Michigan State's lowest scoring half of the year, I don't think we have given Duke's defense enough credit up till now.
No, I'll tell you what, Duke did exactly as we had talked about in the pregame show. They got a hand up on every shot. They've got ball pressure extraordinaire. They've got the denial D in the rotation. They really make you earn every basket, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing in transition.
All right, let's remind you of what happened in Game 1 of the national semifinals here this evening. The UConn Huskies moved on. The UConn Huskies, who advanced to Monday night's national championship game. Once again, Coach, our congratulations to you. Considering it's been such a long, tough road for the UConn Huskies during this past decade, what'd you tell your team after the game?
Well, I told them I was very proud of them. I thought we played terrific defense, okay offense, but the big thing is that we're playing Monday night. And this is not a great time for me to scold them or any type of thing. Basically what to do is just relax and really enjoy the moment. And then by later on tonight, we'll start getting ready for the winner of this game.
When did you decide who you were going to put Ricky Moore on? I know that was a concern when we talked to you last week.
Probably when I saw Ohio State steal the ball against Barkley, I knew that, or felt anyways, that the key to their team is Scooney Penn, because not only does he score points, but he makes other folks better. And if he was able to leak our defense, by that I mean penetrate our defense, I thought we had problems. And the best defender I've coached in 27 years is Ricky Moore, so that decision was an easy one. I didn't really know what to do with Red, but we obviously used Kevin Freeman, some more size on him, so he couldn't get the post-ups. If he made jump shots, we thought that was all right, but we didn't want him posting us up.
Your defense was superb. Let's say the opponent is Duke. Are you going to try to run with them? Do you want to get that up-tempo game going?
You know, that's a great question, Vic. I think we really need to decide how much tempo we really want, because clearly in the past 6, 7, 8 years in basketball, I don't know if I've seen a better offensive team. So if we're ready to just kind of hang it out there and just go offensive end-to-end, I'm not so sure that's a great idea. We need to go up and down, but I don't know if we do have to do that for 40 minutes.
How confident were you about Khalid El-Amin coming back from what was a subpar performance for him last week?
Yeah, just the same way that I believe in Khalid, in Ricky Moore's defense. There was big spotlights here today, and K is a spotlight game. He loves spotlight games, and he seems to really thrive on it. He was talking to me all week about how poorly he played against Gonzaga, and Coach, it's going to be 42,000 there, and I said, oh yeah, and people all over the world will be watching you. I knew he'd be ready. He's that type of player.
Coach, what are your impressions of the first half of what we've just seen here in this game?
Mike, well, you know, obviously, I think Tommy Izzo's talked a great deat about his difficulties at times of having droughts offensively. I think the key, as Rick had mentioned before, the drought is being caused by great pressure defense. They do not allow you a free look at the basket, not any penetration at all. And if they don't get points, obviously you cannot beat Duke without having the ball go in the basket for you.
Convey to the audience your emotions. Tell us what you're feeling.
I actually feel great, but I have to hold back because I have to, you know about this, I have to coach a basketball team on Monday night, and somewhere when I'm taking a 3-foot putt this year and I'm missing it, I'll say, you know, I'm really reflecting now on the Final Four and how great it was, and that's why I missed this 3-foot putt. But right now, my job is to get our basketball team. This is a moment in time for us. It's a chance Monday night to win a national championship, and I would be remiss if I didn't try to prepare my team as best. But clearly, like any other coach, I mean, I'm feeling awfully good. Someone said to me, a lot of work tonight. I said a lot of happy work tonight.
The UConn flag is flying high over the state capitol. Obviously, so are you. We'll see you Monday night, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
You bet. Congratulations. This reminder, for complete Final Four coverage with live scores, stats, and more, check out Tournament Live only at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online. Enter the keyword CBS Sportsline. Thank you very much for watching Pennzoil at the Half. Jim Nance and Billy Packer will be back with the second half of Duke and Michigan State when we continue live from St. Petersburg, Florida. Right after this, take a look at Corey Maggette. Big first half, big Duke Blue Devils first half. They're in charge. We'll be back.
Pennzoil at the Half has been sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Men's National Semifinal game is sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, Pennzoil, First Union, and by AT&T Net.Working.
8 different Duke players have scored in this game, and they lead by 12, the Devils over the Spartans.
Pepsi One presents the Virtual Playbook.
Here we're going to see a Duke team that plays defensively as well as they play offensively. Elton Brand recognizes what happened on that lob. He leaves his man to go down to create some inside help. There goes the ball over the top. Watch Brand recognize what's happening, fill in the spot, and double team down in the low post. Duke's defense is off again to be their offense.
Let's match up your game analysis with first half performance and see how it shakes out.
Well, Jim, it's kind of working out as expected. Brand just too strong in the inside until Smith was switched over him. 13 rebounds. He's getting the job done. The unknown soldier. I said he had to step up for Michigan State. Obviously, Klein and Granger are not doing that. They're sitting there with 2 and 0 points. The Blue Bombers. Now, this is what is making the game as close as it is. Duke only 1 for 7 from three-point line. We're talking about a team that shoots 40%. That is the factor, negative factor for Duke. The bench brigade, you can see Duke outscoring Michigan State. Michigan State's only had 2 teams that has done that against them all year. So Duke doing a great job off the boards and off the bench as well.
Izzo's side held scoreless the final 5 minutes, 13 seconds of the first half. By the way, Billy, Michigan State's 20 points, that's a season low in the first half, while Duke's 32 points ties a season low for the Blue Devils in first half action on the season.
And Jim, Brand's 13 rebounds may seem a lot, but Bill Russell holds the all-time record in the Final Four with 27, which he had against Iowa back in 1956. So Elton about halfway there.
Yeah, he's on pace to give it a run. Cleaves, nice shot.
Good pull-up, nobody on him. Breakdown in the Duke defense. Bell doing a good job on Trajan Langdon, who has not been able to get many looks at all today to score. He's trying to use the screens down inside to get free for the jump shot.
Carawell lanes in. And out to Battier. Another second chance. Langdon, nope. And Hudson. It's on Battier. Let's go over to Bonnie Bernstein quickly. Bonnie?
Jim, Tom Izzo was absolutely livid in the locker room at halftime about his team's rebounding. That is really one of their fortes. Only one team is out-rebounded Michigan State all year. They've got to do better on that. Also look for them to double Elton Brand more inside the paint, Jim.
And in that first half, 28-14. Double the advantage for the Devils.
Duke comes out a little slow, though, Jim. This is a team that likes to explode at the start of the second half. Michigan State doing a good job staying with them right here.
Smith, the jumper they opened the game with, the same kind of attempt. Nice save by Bell.
And remember, this Michigan State was down to Duke in the game earlier this year and made the good, solid comeback.
Yeah, they got within 3 in that one, Billy, after being down 21-4. Climbed within 3, but lost by 6.
And Duke now 1 for 8 from the three-point line, and that is not characteristic of that team.
Battier's second. You have to wonder if the comeback completion against Kentucky last week certainly sent a message to this bunch. Klein, you can't believe that kid can miss it by that much.
Well, that was Carawell with a defensive job on him. Came right across him and altered the shot.
Avery backs in, Cleaves.
Well, he uses that chest when he drives in just to keep that defender off him.
Avery hoping to meet his high school teammate, high school mentor, if you will, Ricky Moore, in the championship game Monday night. They both played at Westside High School in Augusta. Moore 2 years his elder.
Steal from behind. Beautiful pass.
Avery.
And again, Jim, you see when Cleaves drives, Duke can release somebody on the break. Michigan State doing a very poor job with defensive balance. That time it was Klein.
And Michigan State now with its biggest deficit of the tournament, down 14. Wraparound pass, Hudson converts, and a nice pass from Cleaves.
Set play. Michigan State does a great job screening on the inside, moving well without the ball. give Michigan State a lot of credit for the way they're defending the three today. Line on Trajan Langdon. He'd like that matchup.
Push off on Klein.
Yeah, there's no way that Klein can stay with him. And as a matter of fact, Tom Izzo is going to have to get Klein out of the ball game. He really has a bad matchup there.
Peterson comes in for him.
Well, that was an obvious move that he had to make.
So 4 Flint players on the floor right now. The Flintstones, as they're known, for Michigan State. Carrawell, and into the arms of Smith.
Smith does such a good job getting position on his rebounding.
Lob to Peterson, and Langdon got him on the way up.
That was all that Peterson could do, is to try to take that to the basket. Good job on his part with the catch.
Talking about the Flintstones, Cleaves and Smith, they've known each other since they were 9 years old. Charlie Bell, who's the all-time scorer at, well, in that area of Flint, and Morris Peterson.
Of course, Antonio Smith was the first to come and kind of led the way to the others. Tom Izzo really feels that he has been like the foundation of this fine Michigan State team.
Maggette in. Nice first half for the freshman. Maggette, the first half, had 9 points. Langdon out.
Nice touch.
And there's the Flint cheering section, hoisting signs earlier that said yabba dabba doo.
And here's a zone defense for Michigan State. Now, when they won the national championship in '79, they played one of the best matchup zones that's ever been played in college basketball.
Over the top,
and
it's
it
picked
works
off.
this time.
Yep.
Cleaves looking down court. Somebody better stop his dribble.
Pulls up and connects. So 6 unanswered for the Spartans.
And Mike Krzyzewski has to call timeout. Can you imagine allowing Mateen Cleaves to dribble the length of the floor and nobody guarding him?
These kids are tough from Michigan State, and there's no quit. No quit at all in the Flintstone bunch. Tonight on CBS, check out the cops who know something about the fast break and the slam dunk. Marshall Law, Sammo Hung, and Arsenio Hall coming up after the game. He scored a basket there. He's never been to a game, but he certainly knows how to dunk it. They're the Flintstones.
You know, one of the things that we're seeing today, Jim, is some ugly basketball because the defense has done a lot better in both games than has the offense. So nothing's been pretty. It's been a struggle the whole way. And there again.
No, it was not touched by Michigan State. Langdon's making an appeal.
The official said he never saw it. There was a screen and a roll. Langdon thought he had it, but not a good pass. Trajan not having a very good basketball game so far, coming off an outstanding East Regional.
Peterson making the move. Comes up way short.
There's Smith again.
Those hands put back. And look at them back into the game and within 6. An 8-point run on the Devils.
Boy, that double team inside is something on brand now, unlike the start of the game when they tried to play him one-on-one. Doubling down inside, and here's Smith again. The great position guy he is on the glass on both ends of the floor, and with those powerful hands puts it back up. He just uses those 265 wide-bodied pounds to get position.
Izzo's first recruit, Antonio Smith.
And here's the zone. They're taking the chance to say Duke's not having a good three-point game. Let's see if we can change defenses and make sure they don't put it up from out there.
Lob over the top to Brand. Oh, and a foul. Called on Smith.
I think Elton Brand got away with a push on that one. Now, because of their perimeter shooting, they're able to spread this defense out an awful long way. There's Elton Brand, first-team All-American. He's about covered it all there, Jim. ACC Player of the Year and Tournament MVP as well.
And for many, he's been their National Player of the Year. Just the 4th player in the 90s to be a unanimous first-team All-America with Christian Laettner. Glenn Robinson and Tim Duncan the other 3.
Michigan State in the lane, it doesn't make any difference.
A timeout on the floor. This lead at one time was 14 in this half, but the Spartans have slammed that number down to 8. Jim Nance and Billy Packer back at the national semifinals. There is one player that will suit up next year for Michigan State who was a starter at Duke, Mike Chappell. He transferred in the offseason, over the summer, if you will, and there he is in the stands. A year ago, he played here in the regional and hit 2 threes in the game against Kentucky, where the Cats came back.
Jim, he started 21 of their first 22 games last year and averaged 7.1 a game. We're talking about a pretty solid basketball player.
Sitting out the year, and no doubt will be a big part of the Spartan program beginning next year. Peterson over everyone.
He loves that floating left-hander, and a double team by Duke did not pay off.
The super sub is starting to warm up.
Jim, Trajan Langdon is 1 for 4, 2 points. And he has had some problems in postseason play. Didn't affect him in the Eastern Regional, but in both 97 and 98 he had problems. There's Brand finally getting some opening without the double team.
He almost looks unstoppable when he sets up that move. Brand with 12 points. Hudson.
Nice shot.
A quick answer at the other end.
Elton Brand posted up right behind him defensively, and Hudson just went over him. Elton is not a tall guy. You know, they list him 6'8". He might not be 6'8".
In traffic. Last touch by Smith.
There are very few players in the country strong enough to do that to Elton Brand. Smith may be the only one.
Thomas Kelly in, and Carrawell back for Duke. Carrawell, by the way, was Chappell's roommate last year at Duke, and he was the most surprised of all to learn that his friend was unhappy, disenchanted, and transferring.
Well, it must be kind of tough to have your roommate, the guy that you're playing ahead of, and fighting for your position as well. Here's that zone again.
Langdon with the spin out to Carrawell. Here he is, top of the key, and he bangs it home. That's a 3.
Duke probably wondering where has that 3 been all day. And there's Smith trying to beat Burgess down the court as he did Brand earlier in the ball game.
Here's a player who could really lift the Spartans in the second half. Checking in, A.J. Granger.
0 for 4 in the first half, Jim. Between Peterson and Granger, they were 2 for 12 in the first half. And Michigan State staying fairly close considering that.
Cleaves, open 3. He is rising to this moment.
He plays in the big games. He was 2 for 15 against Duke earlier this year. Down to 6, and Michigan State making them play half court at a time.
It's interesting how State has really turned it up in each tournament game in the second half. Carrawell wildly, and Smith looking to grant it to Cleaves. They've got the numbers. State, can they cut within less than 6? Kelly jumper.
Really a big missed opportunity there. Mateen probably should have taken that himself.
And a reach in on the Spartans.
By playing this game half court at a time and taking advantage of obvious breaks when they have it, Michigan State has taken Duke really out of the flow of the game the way they like to play it. Not only is the score kept down, but also Duke can't get any of their runs started. Good job by the strategy of Michigan State.
Second foul on Cleaves.
Mike Krzyzewski up, starting to holler a little bit now. That's a long one.
Avery, rebound out to Granger.
Great block out on Elton Brand. He just couldn't get there.
To the corner. Kelly likes it from here, but misses again. That's 2 times.
Look at
traffic. He gets it back and bangs it home.
Again, 4 guys going to the boards for Michigan State. Duke not able to keep him off the glass. Tom Izzo down on the floor screaming at his team.
Thomas Kelly, a 5th-year senior, has cut a 14-point lead down to 4.
Brand wants it and he gets hammered.
And 1.
Too late to try to get him with a hand slap inside. It's going to become a war for the next couple of minutes here. Both these coaches now are off their feet. And I said you're not going to slap the ball away from Elton Brand down inside.
And importantly here, Billy, it's called the foul right here, the reach in on Cleaves, his 3rd. He's picked up 2 on the last 2 trips.
But Jimmy plays under control, so you know, he's a smart enough player to stay out of it. There again, Kelly steps in the line. Unfortunately for him, Duke makes the free throw.
Back to 7 off the Brand three-point play. Brand with 15 points. 13 rebounds. Doesn't have one in this half. Cleaves had an opening. They say Brand got him.
And right by everybody goes Mateen Cleaves on the drive. Granger did a nice job blocking Elton Brand out just long enough to prevent him from being in a position to make that block.
At one time, it looked like Mateen Cleaves may end up at Michigan and not follow his old high school teammate Antonio Smith. But he was in that accident with Robert Traylor on his recruiting visit to Ann Arbor. An incident that really kind of triggered the end of the Steve Fisher run at Michigan. There's Magic Johnson, Irvin Johnson, who led him to the championship 1979. And congratulations, by the way, to Steve Fisher, named yesterday head coach, San Diego State.
Magic team back in '79 shot 62% in 2 games. But they shot 62% in their 2-game run to the national championship, beating Indiana State in the final, and wearing out Penn in the semifinal. Tempo really picking up here. Will we see any panic set in for Duke, Jim, with all that's expected of them?
Unaccustomed to tight games, Brand, again, almost automatic.
And that was, I fault Michigan State guards on that one. You've got to come back and double down on him and make him throw it back outside.
Kelly. Smith keeps it alive. There's Peterson.
Wow, Brand gets called for another foul on 2 very close blocks. But again, Michigan State offensive boards just keeping the ball alive.
That's the 3rd on Brand.
I'd say that Michigan State in better shape with Cleaves having 3 than Brand having 3. And Cleaves is a guy that can play under control. Elton down there and all that traffic. And Smith will draw some fouls on him.
It was at the line against the Kentucky Wildcats where Peterson sealed it last week, making 7 out of 8, but that one bounces out. Doug Davis and Charlie Bell back for State. Burgess for Duke.
Been the all-time leading Final Four free throw shooter for a game, 12 for 12. The guy that was in our broadcast booth this year, Jim Spanarkel for Duke. Back in '78, Magic himself was 11 for 12 in a game against Penn. But Jim Spanarkel of Duke is the all-time leader. You can't do any better than 12 for 12.
Wow.
Unless you're 13 plus, huh?
And of course, Leitner had the 10 for 10 against Kentucky in that regional
He also
final
was 12 for 12. He had 12 against Kansas. Trajan Langdon can't get anything done offensively.
But it gets it back. And it curls in.
And now Duke gets on the offensive glass. There's going to be a test of wills here. Remaining part of this game. This is a hard-nosed Michigan State team.
Cleaves is out, getting a rest. Davis directs, and he's got Brand on him. Now they switch back. Oh, and a collision. Over and back. Over and back. Davis says, what? You're not going to call that a foul? He pushed me across the line.
Over and back. He made the touch of the ball. They were still in possession, and he touched it in the backcourt.
But was he bumped into the backcourt? Watch, he's still in the front court. Now he's pushed across.
I'll give you, I think, I'll buy your story.
Okay. Brand has 9 points in this half. Cleaves with 10 leading Michigan State. And there, look at that combo.
Two pretty good coaches right there, huh?
Judd Heathcote, national championship coach in 1979. And Steve Mariucci, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers behind him. Mariucci, Tom Izzo's best friend and roommate in college at Northern Michigan University. They were each other's best men in the wedding.
Jim, Judd Heathcote's club was 4-4 that year in the Big Ten. Were able to get on a great roll. They ended up in a 3-way tie for the Big Ten championship. Had it been prior to '75, they wouldn't have even gotten in the NCAA tournament. But had a tremendous run behind Greg Kelser and Magic Johnson.
Still boos to be heard coming out of that break about that call at midcourt. Carrawell steps in for two, blocked, and out to Peterson.
It seems that every time Duke has an opportunity to get the ball inside out, it goes out to a non-shooter. For some reason, Trajan Langen has not been the guy today.
James on the floor. Davis with the loose ball but it's off him. Good ball.
Davis is having some rough time in the backcourt, isn't he?
He's going to come out with Cleves returning.
You know, James got his hands on a lot of balls out there in a few minutes that he played.
And Battier for Burgess.
Hard-fought basketball game here today, regardless of which team turns out to be the victor. They really bang each other on the boards.
Battier in traffic.
See, again, the ball tapped out. Duke never in a position to take those threes they're so good at.
Avery, second try. And Cleves and Peterson. Peterson pull up.
Oh, he doesn't miss many of those.
Brand with his first rebound of the second half.
Where's he going? He better pass.
Got Carrawell, and he's got a charge.
That's his fourth. Cleves, that was a bad play by Elton Brand.
What a moment that was, though. Two players with 3 fouls. And Cleves stands his ground against the much larger Elton Brand.
Jim, he should have given up the ball immediately to a guard and filled the lane. He not only picks up his fourth, Duke loses an opportunity for an easy 2. Poor judgment on his part there.
It wasn't like running into Eduardo Nahara.
No,
but I'll tell you what, Brand, if he gets you the right way.
But as I said, Cleves is in a position, his third not as big as Brand's because Cleves can play under control.
So Brand is out with the 4.
Big opportunity now for Michigan State.
And they immediately go inside and convert.
That could be a huge foul.
Carrawell draws it.
Jim, I'm going to reach way back to the biggest foul like that I ever saw in the NCAA tournament. 76, Indiana going up against Alabama. And you had Kent Benson and Leon Douglas colliding. And both of them, either one that got the foul is out of the ball game. It turned out to be on Douglas. Indiana won and went on to be an undefeated national champion. Could have changed the history of the game.
I'll give you one more like that.
Okay.
Clyde Drexler against North Carolina State. The 4th foul called on Drexler with Terry Gannon drawing the charge.
Well,
some folks who went to Houston still don't like the call.
You're very biased as a former Houston guy. Clyde's 4th against somebody's 5th. Come on.
All right. I'm still smarting about that one. 16 years down the road. Nate James returns.
Krzyzewski paying off James' ability to get his hands on some balls. Now Klein out there. Burgess is with Smith. Some guys off the bench are going to have to come up big for both teams now.
Cleves launches. Smith tried to tip it out.
Uh-oh, watch it now.
Avery and Cleves. Cleves has to be careful.
Boy, how about that smart
off Avery. Get ready for Championship Monday. Monday, it begins with Everybody Loves Raymond at a special time, followed by the King of Queens, except on the West Coast.
Boy, give Mateen Cleves a lot of credit, Jim. Stood his ground on 2 plays. Duke gives up 2 great opportunities for fast breaks because Cleves' smart play defensively.
A pass.
Wow,
and
no foul?
Michigan State lucky to get it back.
They're allowing them to bang each other pretty. The way this game is being played, you're taking some hits. Look at this. No foul called on that play. That was similar to the one you just saw a few minutes ago at half court. Got to be a foul.
Wow.
Anytime you make contact and gain an advantage, it's a foul. Cleves loves to turn that corner with the right hand.
Gave it up again at the last minute.
And Jim, what are we seeing now? A Duke team that usually dominates their opponent by 380 foul shots so far this year. Michigan State getting to the line just as much as they are, if not more in the second half.
Bell at the line to shoot 2. Mike Krzyzewski's team with 36 wins, 33 of them by 10 points or more. Imagine that. Only 3 wins by less than 10 points on the season.
And that may be something that doesn't help them in this game, because they have not been tested in a real close ball game. Another offensive rebound.
Puts it back in for 2 more.
No blocking out by Duke. This Michigan State team is right there.
Bo Peterson has done that 2 times in this half. Converted off a missed free throw.
Call.
And they say last touch by Michigan State.
Wow, we are seeing some shaky officiating down this stretch. The referee wants a towel. He might need that to wipe his glasses if he had them. Jim, this Michigan State team, their ability to get on the boards, and Coach Izzo mentioned coming out at halftime, that's what he had to do, and his team has really responded in that area. They were getting dominated in the first half, 28 rebounds to 14.
Langdon, 3-pointer.
Nothing there, and a good block out again by Michigan State.
We get Cleaves surveying the court. Klein, big shot. And a foul on Duke.
Carrawell pushing Bell underneath. In the craziest ways, Michigan State staying in this game. We said that Granger or Klein would have to come up and make some shots. They're not doing it, but this great rebounding by Michigan State's getting it done.
UConn advancing in the first game today. And now 1-1 for Bell. And with this attempt, they'll have shot 10 free throws to only 9 for Duke.
And now the referee's talking a little bit on the inside. Michigan State is just taking it to Duke physically. They're showing them they're a tougher team.
It was Bell who said a week ago, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And they're now within 3. At one time, it was a 14-point margin in this half.
And remember who's on the bench with 4. A lot of time to go. That foul that could have been a fast break for Duke. Hoop ran on the bench with 4.
Langdon, 3-pointer. Wow, what a big one.
Beautiful move on Bell. Michigan State keeps moving without that ball down inside, setting some vicious screens. I'm surprised Avery doesn't make Cleaves go back to the left. He's been able to come around with that right hand all day.
Line again. Tipped out by Bell. They say he was over the back. And that's the 7th on Michigan State. Langdon will shoot a 1-and-1, and he is an incredible free throw shooter.
Look at Battier's leadership trying to pull this team together to get organized on the defensive end.
Granger. Perhaps he'll have a change of luck from the first half performance.
Jim, Klein 1 for 5 against Mississippi, 1 for 5 against Oklahoma, 1 for 6 against Kentucky. A guy who has had some big games shooting-wise, but it's just not there today.
And look at this. Langdon 2nd all-time in the ACC in free throw percentage, and then a turnover right back.
Big break for Duke there.
Timeout on the floor. Blue Devils lead is 6. Elton Brand with 4 fouls. Duke leads by 6, and the Devils have possession. Jim Nance, Billy Packer with you. And Billy, let's talk about some strategy here in the last 8 minutes.
Well, I think the real key for Mike Krzyzewski is to keep this as close as he can to get down under 4 so he can get Brand back in the ball game. He's going to need his offensive punch. Really surprising how Michigan State has been able to control the glass here in the second half, keep the game half court at a time. Cleaves with the ball in his hands, extremely dangerous. But that was in a game this tight, that was a huge turnover for Michigan State. They had the ball, they had good momentum, and just threw it away carelessly.
It was on this floor a year ago where Duke squandered a 17-point lead against Kentucky. And a push-off called on Granger, which will send Maggette to the line for a 1-and-1.
That's a tough matchup for Granger outside with Maggette's quickness. Right now, you've got Tom Izzo putting Smith on the bench, figuring to give him the rest, knowing Brand's going to come back probably underneath the 5-minute mark, so he doesn't want to waste his energy right now. Duke not doing what they do so well is shoot free throws and shoot threes.
Missing on 2 consecutive front ends of 1-and-1s.
Nice curl.
Peterson off the glass down the floor.
Nice curl. Battier waited to try to draw that charge. A good no call by the official. And he's a 6th man, Jim.
He is indeed. He's got 15 for the game, 11 in this half.
A lot of people want to know, what would Duke do if somebody could play him close?
Well, that's what they do right there. Avery knocks down a 3.
Peterson looks like he wants the ball time and time again. And he's being played by a real good defender in Carrawell, but he takes him anyway.
Cleaves, look at this, it goes in. No, traveling.
Pretty good defense by Avery on Cleaves.
Could you tell me how this ball goes in, though?
Well, a pretty good reverse dribble, and he just actually loses it right here. Slides, falls, and steps away. So, good clean call. Avery now wanting to take it and gets the roll. Big plays. And here comes Cleaves right back at him.
Avery with 5 unanswered and a timeout of 20 by Michigan State.
He might not be Duke's best player, but I think he is the guy that's the real key for them because they cannot play without Avery.
The CBS Sportsline stat of the game, rebounding advantage Duke. But bear in mind, that was 28-14 at halftime. For a complete tournament coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com.
Jim, just a grind-em-out type ball game. Much like the first game, you know, we didn't see really any nice flow today of basketball. We're seeing teams grinding it on out.
But most of Michigan State's games are that way.
Oh, exactly. That's the way they play. It's
as Tom Izzo said, nobody picks us because we're not the prettiest team in America. But this is the way they play. You know, they beat Mount St. Mary's in the first round by 13, and they'll go beat a Kentucky by 7. It's always in that kind of margin. They don't run away, and they also don't get blown away. Peterson to the corner. Passed up a couple of shots there. Inside of 6 minutes.
Now you got to force him left here. You've got to force him left, and does.
Cleaves short.
Good, smart play that time.
Peterson called timeout.
Jim, one of the things too, this club 15-1 in the Big Ten. We talked about the strongest conference in the country. They lost to Wisconsin, and that was it. They weren't even that pretty in the Big Ten tournament, but they were able to struggle through. Remember knocking off Northwestern in the first game for them in the tournament?
And they haven't lost, and that was January 6th, since January 6th. Tournament heritage, we go back to '92, Duke's last championship. But to get to the Final Four, well, one more look at the shot by Christian Laettner.
Puts it up. The flags are dropped at half-mast as we speak in the state of Kentucky.
Thomas Hill. Oh my God, you can read his lips. Laettner's day, 10 of 10 field goals, 10 of 10 free throws. And Duke plays Monday night. Laettner and Hill will be here.
Critical time now. Mike Krzyzewski just trying to get some more minutes before he gets Elton Brand back in this ball game. That was a smart move by Avery to force Cleaves to go left. Not let him circle with that great right-hand power move he's got.
Cleaves back to the rim. And Carrawell tips it out to Battier. Well, with Brand on the bench for almost 5 minutes, the lead has actually increased by 1 from 8 to 9. Carrawell wants it. He'll go to the line for 2.
Carrawell really taking over the offensive load, Jim, with those drives on the inside. Now, Duke has not been good on the foul line, but this time he'll have 2.
Second on Peterson.
Carrawell about the only poor free throw shooter on this ball club. shooting just 57%.
Two shots for Carrawell.
How often do you see this? Trajan Langdon missing the front ends. Carrawell having struggled job on here at the foul line.
We talked about how long it's been since state loss, since January 6th. For Duke, their one and only loss was 4 months ago tomorrow.
Cincinnati with that incredible play.
Duke has missed its last 4 free throws, Billy.
Brand is going to come back in the game, so Mike waited till the 5-minute mark.
Hudson backs in and converts.
That's his shot. I'm surprised again nobody doubled down on him inside. You know that Cleaves is not a great outside shooter, neither is Bell, so they're going to want to score inside.
Timeout Duke, a 20. They've been saying all year, every time we get a team down, we talk about the Kentucky game where they let that 17-point lead evaporate last year against the Cats on this floor. And Billy, you mentioned the loss.
This is Ryan Fletcher throwing to Kenyon Martin, who then will tip it off to Melvin Levitt, who lays it up. Trajan Langdon following on the play. Remember at the end, Avery almost in time. Time ran out and Duke didn't pull it out up in Alaska. They flew right from there to play this Michigan State team. So they came off their only loss to face Michigan State in Chicago.
That was back in Alaska in Trajan Langdon's home state. 4:44 remaining and Brand has returned to the game.
With 4 fouls. So Cleaves and Brand both had 3 at the same time. Cleaves has stayed right out on the floor. I don't remember him coming out in a long, long time. Has he sat down at all of it?
Yeah, well, Davis had the 2 difficult moments.
That's right.
Back-to-back possessions. And he sat 3 minutes in the first half.
Brand has to be careful if he tries to drive to the basket.
Over Smith. Oh, by Carrawell.
I thought he went over the back that time and got away with it.
Definitely.
Carrawell's coming up big on the offensive end here. He's got the job on Peterson. Well, what a screen that time on Battier. Just lost it.
Cut to the basket. Peterson can't lay it in. Hudson looked like he hacked Brand. No call.
Avery wants that ball back.
Final 4 minutes here. The winner to play Connecticut Monday night for the championship.
Carrawell pulling his jersey. Wonder if he wants a lob here.
Brand will work on Smith. To Carrawell. And another foul here.
What Elton Brand is recognizing now is what's happening to him when it goes down to the low post. Smith's pushing him from behind. They're doubling down, so the pass is there. And Carrawell moving very well without the ball.
3rd on Peterson.
Look at Brand down on the inside. He's holding his ground. Now he realizes the double team's coming, so he looks to pass. Good smart play on his part.
That's 10 team fouls on the Spartans. Double bonus time the rest of the way.
Jim, there isn't anybody in college basketball that really can play him one-on-one down in the low post. So what Elton Brand has to recognize when he gets the ball, does he have an immediate shot or is there a double team? If so, he's got to look to pass. Early in the game, he really wasn't looking to do that.
Carrawell with 2 shots. Carrawell
and the drop.
Duke have now missed 5 straight free throws. Granger back in. Monday night, Carrawell and Battier and Langdon went to Greensboro to cheer on the women's team from Duke as they advance to the Final Four, and subsequent to that, they've advanced to the championship game at the women's Final Four, playing Purdue tomorrow for the title. Quite a year for Duke basketball, huh? The lead is back to 10. Back at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. And Duke had seen its lead drop to 3, but now that was at 51-48, now on an 11-4 run. And a reminder, after Final Four action, Sammo Hung and Arsenio Hall and Martial Law coming your way tonight on CBS. 3:35 remaining.
Jim, really critical for Duke to keep Brand on the floor right now because they can punch it down into him, force Michigan State to trap on the inside, and then Trajan Langdon and Avery, who have not exploded on the outside yet today but are so dangerous, can get that ball with some good looks because Michigan State definitely is going to have to help out on Brand inside. And of course, if you're Brand, you've got to stay away from picking up that 5th foul. Still plenty of time for Michigan State in this ball game.
Peterson, and the rebound by Smith for a moment, touched out by Maggette.
Well, Peterson realized Brand was coming and had to alter that shot.
Carrawell for Maggette, and for Duke.
We'll zone it out of bounds here.
Peterson, three-pointer.
Oh, big shot.
Looks like it'd go down for a moment. Langdon with the rebound.
All day long, Michigan State has not gotten that lift that got them here off the bench with Granger or Klein to hit some of those outside shots that were so critical. Duke's starting to spread it a little bit now.
Avery.
Fade.
He's hit a couple of those, but not this time. Bell to Cleaves. What a save by Cleaves, and an escape. Steps back for a three. And Carrawell with two hands.
I'll tell you what, you start counting the things that Carrawell has done in the last 6 or 7 minutes. Offensive play and defensive play and rebounding. He has really come through. And here you have a big spread out, trying to use some clock here. 5-second call, very close.
Peterson reached in. Carrawell to the line. Double bonus.
I have to wonder, why was Carrawell the guy back there for the outlet pass? You know he's the man they want to foul. Avery had to come to the ball there.
Just 2:10 remaining.
Jim, in the second half, Michigan State, we talked about their bench all year long, only outscored by Iowa's bench in any game. In the second half, 13-0. When they were behind in the first half, 11-6. So they have gotten the production. Duke finally gets the first shot of 2 to go down.
Back to 12.
Carroll had the great game against St. John's the last time Duke was really contested. Had 17, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists in that ball game.
Granger three-pointer, they got it.
There it is. Been waiting all day for him.
Gets it back to single digits.
Gonna try him again.
Peterson reached in. That will be it for Morris Peterson.
Wow, that hurts. That takes away their #1 scoring threat. You know, if you knew you were going to foul, Jim, that would have been a place to put Klein in the game, let him commit the foul, get Peterson back in on the offense. That's a tough break for Michigan State.
So the most outstanding player of the Midwest Regional is out of the game with 15 points.
All Big Ten first team, 6th man of the year in college basketball, and put a lot of pressure on that Duke defense today.
Thomas Kelly replaces him. So the leading score is gone.
Well, if you know you're going to play a game of trading fouls for possession, you sure don't want your leading scorer to be the guy to commit that 5th foul. Kind of a mental slip by Michigan State.
Farewell will have 2. That gives him 10 in this half, 12 for the game.
Elton Brand smiles. Sometimes now a shooter like this gets on a roll and starts feeling comfortable on the line.
It's what Peterson did last week.
And Michigan State really did the job from the foul line down the stretch. And now if you're Duke, you want to go ahead and force Michigan State to make a bunch of passes using up that clock.
Cleaves past Brand and off the glass. Smith tried to tip it once. Kelly, three-pointer, short.
Now they've got the situation where you don't want to foul this guy.
But we're moving toward a Monday night final of Duke and Connecticut. Two teams that traded off #1 in the polls this year. People forget that UConn was #1 for 10 weeks in the season.
More weeks than anybody.
Foul number 3.
Carrawell's going to go back to that foul line to continue this string of his. This Duke team pretty resilient, Jim. Just when you thought it might show some signs of cracking, and Michigan State's a team that can make you do that. You have Elton Brand on that foul on the bench in foul trouble, but they were able to hang on. And this young man right here is a major reason for it.
Tom Izzo was the National Coach of the Year a season ago. Son of a shoemaker. There's his wife, Lupe, behind Judd Heathcote. His father, Tom Izzo's father, Carl, with a family business up in Iron Mountain, Michigan. Everyone knew it would be a Cinderella story, even though they were a 1 seed. They could beat Duke today, but that shoe's not going to fit here.
Oh, dangerous pass.
Cleaves inside, Granger for 2.
Now, I'm surprised Duke doesn't get that ball in Trajan Langdon's hands more going down a stretch here and put that outstanding free throw shooter on the line.
1 minute remaining, and the Blue Devils have a 9-point bulge with a minute left.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. The new Silverado interior is so big that
We're back in St. Petersburg. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, 9-point margin here, Billy, and you don't want to kiss it off yet. As you think back to Todd Leary in Indiana, back in Minneapolis in 1992.
Right, Duke almost didn't get to the final game against that Michigan basketball team. But I think what we're going to see right now, a lot of screens set by Duke University, get the ball in the hands of their 2 outstanding free throw shooters and get them on the line the rest of the way. Trajan Langdon is trying to get him the ball in the bad pass.
Here's the steal, Kelly. And inside, who will get it?
Well, again,
Battier. Wow, that was for any chance you figure Michigan State had to convert something there.
Mike Krzyzewski has to be very disappointed in the execution of his team, because what he wanted to do in that timeout, I'm sure, is to say, hey, the rest of the way, guys, I want only 2 people handling the ball, Trajan Langdon and William Avery. They threw a very weak lob pass to Trajan. Mike Krzyzewski developing quite a record. We all know that he's going in for a hip replacement operation on April the 5th, right after this season. And I have been involved in some games this year, Jim, that he has broadcast where he was in some severe pain, but fighting through it here in this tournament.
A degenerative condition in his left hip, forcing the surgery. Of course, the back ailment and fatigue, exhaustion kept him out for most of the '95 season. Brand back in. It was interesting talking to him yesterday, Billy, about last year, his approach last year. He first used the word vendetta, trying to make up for that 13-18 record that 94-95 season was. But he says the wrong motivation. It was more about, well, it was more about me wanting to make up for it, and that was wrong, he said. So I took a different approach this year, and he really put the pressure on his team before even a first game, saying, I expect our team to win a national championship. And when we asked him about that, he said he wanted them to learn all season long about trying to play to high expectations. Klein, 3.
Got time for that young man. Good for him to finally make a shot with all the adversity that's faced him all day long.
Brand to the line for 2. There's Mickey.
And Jim, still a lot of time on this clock, considering the fact that 7. Got 31 seconds. Brand going to the line, and the good free throw shooters for Duke are not getting there. And Mickey struggling up there in the stands.
Saw the daughters, Lindy and Jamie and Debbie, husband Peter.
They're to be grandparents, that young couple.
Coach K will make Coach K grandparent, yeah. But you know, he said, why, you know, I wanted my team to understand all season long what it's like to play with those expectations, because when we get to the Final Four, they're going to be there again. Interesting strategy, wasn't it, Billy?
Yeah, but it's not been a walkthrough for this ball club today.
25 seconds remaining.
Thinking three. Klein wants the ball. Cleves driving.
Look at Cleves fight for it.
Beats
down to
getting
6
for a rebound. How about that?
17 seconds left and a timeout. 68-62. We'll be right back. Well, Duke has won its last 4 games in the national semifinals since Seton Hall beat them 10 years ago up in Seattle. They knocked out in this round Arkansas in 90, UNLV in the Shocker 91, Indiana 92, Florida 94.
Jim, not a bad time to run a man long here, but you want to set enough screens or enough crosses for either Trajan Langdon or William Avery to catch this inbounds pass. There goes Maggette long.
Look up, Maggette gets it, and Smith fouls him.
That's a good move by Duke, and Michigan State was kind of ready for it. But a very good play right there, because you know that Michigan State wants to steal the inbounds pass and try to foul right away. So they send Maggette long. That pass had been led a little bit better.
Smith never looked back. You know, he comes from a family of defensive ends, not defensive backs. You know, his brother Robert is a defensive end for Michigan State, and his other brother Fernando plays for Jacksonville, and he's fouled out. Jacksonville Jags, that is.
Smith goes out, but this game is not over. The top free throw shooters for Duke have not been on the line, and Duke's only 14 for 25 from the line. 6, so this is really critical that he hits one of these shots.
And Smith, the senior, has fouled out, and he'll hope for the miracle to keep his career going at Michigan State.
There's still a life here. This one is so critical to get a 3-possession game here for Duke. No siree.
Granger pulls it down. Can they get the quick 3?
Get the ball up.
Cleves off the screen, fires it, and out to Avery. Boy, they had a shot
Avery
to get
ought to hang on to this ball and pass it to no one.
It's over. It's over. Duke advances to the national championship game.
It wasn't pretty, but they got there. Survive and advance is what Jim Valvano said this tournament's about. And we have 2 teams today, Connecticut and Duke, who survived and advanced.
They both win by 6. It was UConn 64-58 over Ohio State. And here, Duke 68-62. The 2 Big Ten teams are eliminated. So it's UConn and Duke Monday night for the national championship. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game, Elton Brand from Duke. 18 points, 15 rebounds. He had only 3 boards in the first matchup of the season against Michigan State. Mateen Cleves for the Spartans. So we're all set now for a Monday night final. The 2 teams that traded off #1 during the regular season. Bravo to Tom Izzo and his Spartans. Greg Gumbel coming up when we return.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg, everyone. A reminder tonight here on CBS, stay tuned for an all-new episode of Martial Law. Then join CBS Sports Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Prelude to a Championship. We will preview the national championship game that follows between Duke at 37-1 and UConn at 33-2. Tip time for that game is 9:18 p.m. Let's go back down to the court now and join Jim Nance and Billy Packer. Jim.
All right, Greg, here with Coach K and Elton Brand. Congratulations. Monday night now, all set, UConn and Duke. Very physical, as we expected. The 68 points, the lowest of the season for the Blue Devils. Was it as physical as you expected going in there?
You know, it was very physical. I think that's the most physical team we've played all year. They're banging. They're just relentless under the boards down there.
What does it mean to you to be playing for the championship Monday night?
You know, it's a special feeling. You know, you dream about this all your life, and we're going for it Monday against UConn, so it's going to be great.
How about it, Mike? How about